2025 has finally arrived, and in this video, I want to keep things light and simply share my thoughts on the events we can expect in the coming year. We'll discuss not only the amazing digital circus, but also Glitch as a whole. Afterward, I'd like to show you my favorite video, or theory, from 2024 as a way to properly say goodbye to the year that, for me, and likely for many of you, was pivotal in so many ways. But first, let's start by reading that special New Year's greeting. 2024 was a monumental year for us. So much happened, more than we can list out in this one post. While Murder Drones and Digital Circus took center stage this year, achieving insane milestones on YouTube, Netflix, and taking over stores, cafes in the US and Japan, the crew has also been working quietly in the background on the Gaslight District, our new upcoming 3D original animated show. We're so excited to show all of you in 2025. This show is turning out to be like nothing we've ever seen before. It's hard to describe. Have a happy holiday and be prepared for an even bigger year for indie animation in 2025. Happy New Year! For the first time in a long while, we've finally seen a hint of the elusive Gaslight District project, which was announced over a year ago. Glitch had gone silent about the show for so long that I was convinced it had been shelved. However, it turns out I was wrong, and we're at least guaranteed to see its pilot episode in the new year. My expectations for Gaslight District are quite high, as I'm confident that Glitch will now invest significantly more resources into the development and execution of new projects compared to before. I anticipate the pilot episode of this show to drop around July or August. As for the potential performance of Gaslight District, it's hard to make predictions right now. However, I think it might surpass the success of Murder Drones. That said, reaching the level of the amazing digital circus seems unlikely. And now it's time to talk about the amazing digital circus itself. 2025 will mark the first year where TADC takes center stage, meaning the quality of new episodes will reach even greater heights. Comparing the pilot episode to episode 4, it's already clear how much the animation quality has improved. The new year promises to be more exciting when it comes to the events in upcoming episodes. I expect to see at least 4 episodes in 2025. Episode 5 is likely to be released around March, Episode 6 in June, Episode 7 in August or September, and Episode 8 will wrap up the year, with a release projected for mid-December. At present, the amazing digital circus is Glitch's flagship and only active project, and this will likely remain the case until the end of the first season. Even the potential premiere of Gaslight District won't change this. However, the new project will inevitably consume some of Glitch's time and perhaps financial resources, making it harder to predict the time gaps between episodes. The 6-month wait we experienced previously was due to the fact that, at the time of the pilot's release, Episode 2 hadn't even started production. Now, we know for certain that when each new episode premieres, some progress has already been made on the next one. This means we won't see such long delays in the coming year. Beyond that, I'm confident this year will serve as an even bigger boost for the growth of indie animation, with Glitch leading the charge. More locations will open, more events will be hosted, and we'll see even more truly amazing merchandise. I want to believe in this because the amazing digital circus has become more than just another fun show for me. It's become a genuine part of my life. To Glitch, Gooseworx, my beloved ADC, the mysterious Gaslight District, and everyone else involved, I believe in you. I support you. Best of luck in 2025. And now, as promised, here's something that wasn't just another video for me. It was something much more. I remember every single detail of creating this video. I tried to uncover the reasons behind the disappearance of many characters, and I truly believe I succeeded. A long time ago, I told you that the process of abstraction is not as simple as it seems at first glance, and that each abstracted figure is replaced by a substitute as a new hero. And just like that, one was abstracted and one appeared. And the next part of the video will be dedicated to the characters who survived before the pilot episode, and we'll find out who replaced them. The first one I want to look at is this weird worm on a string. We don't know the name of this character, but for simplicity's sake, we'll call him Wormy. Wormy is a reference to a real existing toy called a worm on a string. And I think it's no secret who became the replacement for this character. It was our strange and silent Zooble who replaced Wormy. After all, Zooble is also a real toy. After Gooseworx itself confirmed that Zooble is a reference to the strange Zolo constructor, and after the characters were introduced, we learned that there is a box of parts in Zooble's room that she can add to her body. All this and some other nuances tell us that Zooble is completely lost in herself, and maybe she will soon meet the same end as Wormy. All of this is to give you an idea of what Wormy was like. I think she was a bit strange, very withdrawn, which eventually led to her alienation from all the other characters, including the yellow dog named Dobby, who we'll talk about next. And eventually, after some time alone, she came to the same end as Kaufmo in the pilot episode. As promised, it's time to talk about Dobby. You don't have to be a psychic to see that his replacement is Jax. It's obvious. At the moment, there is no other animal in the digital circus except Jax, and even if you look at some of the old characters, our yellow dog will be the only animal. And if you compare him to Zooble and Wormy, you might think that our Dobby was a bully like Jax, but therein lies the mystery. As we know, 99% of dogs are perfect creatures when properly raised, and if you look at our Dobby's face, you can see how pure and kind his eyes are, and his smile made even me smile. Perhaps our dog was the complete opposite of Jax, and was the kindest and most loyal character in this cast, because even in the image of Jax, we can immediately see that he is kind of cunning and ready to wreak chaos at any moment. Now we will talk about the most popular of the abstracted characters, and of course we're talking about the famous Queenie. Just as an amazing fact, but only her name was officially told to us, and who could replace Queenie is still an open question. On the one hand, we want to believe that Queenie and Kinger joined the digital circus together, and that there was true love between them, but a recent Twitter post by Gooseworx makes us realize that there can be no romance in the digital circus, and no need to make up different stories. And it completely turns our world upside down, and we realize that Kinger never really knew Queenie. He just became her replacement. Honestly, it makes me sad because there's already a whole fan base that's built up around these characters and their love, and now it just doesn't make sense. Who has been replaced by Pomni is no secret, but who did Kaufmo replace? If you look closely, you'll easily find another clown. Let's call him Cloney. And this character is the first to show his character in all its glory. You can see how sad and depressed he is. While Kaufmo in his normal life before this incident was a cheerful and kind guy who always wanted to cheer everyone up, but unfortunately he was not very good at it. But Cloney was hardly a good and positive guy. He was probably one of those who was sad all the time and put the other characters in the same state with his looks and actions. And thanks to this information, I have some theories about Pomni. Perhaps Pomni is a mixture of these two characters, and so far we see her in a good mood, which means she is in the so-called Kaufmo stage. But as soon as the level of horror in the digital circus goes over the edge, Pomni will sink into the state of Cloney, and most likely, we will never see our fool happy and cheerful again, and finally the end of her journey will be the transformation into an abstracted monster. There is also a theory about the character Cheddar. Cloney was a depressed character for most of his life in the circus, but we don't know about his life in the beginning. Perhaps he was as happy as Pomni. While Kaufmo was a happy character for 98% of his life and only turned into a sad clown at the very end of his journey, which means that now it's Pomni's turn to end up as a clown, and we'll never see a funny Pomni like we saw in the pilot episode again. Even the last scene of the pilot episode tells us that. This funny character who looks like a doll made out of a sock was shown to us in the scene with Ragatha, and that's what Ragatha replaces. It is clear here because the sock puppet called Sappy and Ragatha are both puppets. You can see that our Sappy is also very smiling, kind, and sweet, like Ragatha, and her flower on her head is something amazing. Gangle is much more complicated than the other characters. Even if you compare her to Zooble, who is nothing and can't identify himself, Gangle is something. But what exactly is she? Her masks are a good place to start. She has both a comedy mask and a tragedy mask. These masks are used in the theater, and the red ribbon that makes up her body can also be seen in various performances. So we understand that Gangle has something to do with the theater, but which of the earlier characters could also be associated with the theater? On the one hand, one could think that Gangle's predecessor was Cloney, because they're both very sad. But with the clown, we have already figured it out, but the question of who replaced Gangle is still unanswered. The only possibility I can think of is this puppet. It is very similar to the puppet that is put on the hand and used as the main character in some types of theater performances, and therefore this puppet was most likely the predecessor of Gangle in the digital circus. And that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I wish you success and good luck, and I want to say see you soon in new videos that will appear every 2 days.